Levack Goz here with you on 104.5 The Team, and joining us now, NBA insider for the Sporting News, Sean Deveney, joins us. And Sean, last night, the New York Knicks, they continue to win. This Knicks team we thought might be the worst team in the NBA, but they're above 500. How is this Knicks team winning games this season?
You know, I think we all knew that Porzingis had the potential to be one of the better big men in the league, but he's gotten to that potential a lot faster than I think anybody really thought. And you know, there have been fourth quarters where he's actually, you know, just carried that team and won some games that they probably shouldn't have. I don't know that it's sustainable. You know, I think that obviously they're not among the worst teams in the league, but I don't think they're a playoff team in the end. You know, I don't think they have the depth. I don't think they have the other options as teams adjust to defending Porzingis. But certainly, hey, through the first 10 games, they have been one of the better stories. They've been one of the more fun teams to watch and to follow here in the early part of the season.
My co-host is a New York Knicks fan. I am more so a Carmelo Anthony fan. I've been calling them the New York No Mellows this season. Is it because of Melo? Are you going to take Levack's side here and say the reason they're getting better is also due in part to Carmelo's absence?
Well, you know, I think that it just allowed them to change the focus. You know, it just allowed them to start going with some of the younger guys and not feel like you've got to get Carmelo his 18 to 22 shots a game. You know, when you remove that, and again, look, I don't think that Carmelo was inherently doing anything negative. I think he was going out there and trying to win. I don't think that he was dogging it or anything like that. I just think that for that team, for that franchise, I think they needed a reset. I think they needed to kind of go back to the drawing board and start focusing on the younger guys, Porzingis especially, and they've been able to do that now. And so, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say it was Carmelo's fault that they were losing last year, but I think that their ability to kind of come back this year and have a different focus, have a different, a different emphasis in terms of both the personnel and just the direction of the team, you know, where we're going from here. We're going to build with these young guys. We're going to commit to them. I think you see some of the results of that. Again, they're not going to be a 45-win team. I don't think they'll go to the playoffs, but they will be a team that will at least sort of establish a direction, and you'll have a better idea, okay, this is where this team is heading, rather than sort of the piece together approach that they took last year with guys like Rose and guys like Noah and, of course, Carmelo as well.
That's a very fair answer. Levack or myself won't yell at you for not going too hard on one side, so we're okay with that. I want to go back to the point you brought up there that you don't believe yet they're a playoff team, that they're a 45-win caliber team. Is that more so still because of talent or sustainability, or a little mix of both?
Yeah, you know, I think talent for sure. I don't think that they have enough defensively, certainly to be a team that can maintain this. And I think depth as well. You know, you get into that bench and it gets real thin real fast. You're going to have injuries. Every team does. And you're going to have to go to some of those guys deeper into the bench. And you know, over 82 games, I just don't think that what they've got is going to be sustainable to be a team that's going to be an above 500 team and a playoff team. I think that like I said, though, you're seeing sort of the potential of what they can be as they start to fill in some of those other spots, as they get another scorer, as they get deeper, as they get a little more veteran help going forward. I think that that's something that you can at least see. Okay, this is the direction of the team, and I think that that's something that's really been lacking the last few years.
Joining us now, NBA insider for the Sporting News, Sean Deveney, right here on Levack Goz, 104.5 The Team. We've been following the Instagram drama that has been LeBron James and the cartoon memes and everything else. Last night against Milwaukee, almost goes for a triple-double. His Cavaliers pick up the victory. But until then, why had Cleveland been struggling so much early in this season?
It's all in the defensive end for them right now. And what worries me, what would worry me if I were Tyronn Lue is, last year they had the same problem. They had significant defensive problems, and it was a real issue for them. They were not playing well the first half of the year, and it came down to the defensive end. But when you looked at what was going on with them defensively last year, you could say, okay, watch them try to defend the pick and roll. They can't do it. They're getting killed in the pick and roll. You can look at the numbers. You could watch them play and just do the eye test. They could not defend the pick and roll. A lot of that goes to Kyrie Irving and what a poor defender he is at the top of the defense. Okay, now Irving's gone, and they're still terrible defensively, except it's not just the pick and roll. Now they're terrible defensively all over the place, and that, to me, if I'm Tyronn Lue, that's a bit more of an issue, because if you've got one area where you're weak, then you can figure out ways going into the playoffs or going down the stretch. You can figure out how to correct that. But if you have a team that just doesn't seem to be guarding anybody on any spot in the floor, that's a much different thing. You look at them in the 3-point line; they're giving up huge numbers at the 3-point line. They're having trouble defending the middle. It's more of a generally terrible defensive effort rather than one aspect where you can say, okay, this is what we need to address. If I'm Tyronn Lue, that worries me, because you don't have the one thing where you can say, okay, we have to fix this. You got to fix everything.
So it's not one of these things 3 months down the line we see Cleveland make a move for a great defender. It is a team issue right now. And even Isaiah Thomas's return may not help out with that.
Well, he's not much of a defender.
Right.
I'm here in Boston. I saw him for a couple of years here, and defense is not his strength. You gotta do things to cover up for him defensively. So that certainly is not going to be the answer. But yeah, I don't know that they have any transactions left in them. They don't have a lot of assets that they can use to make any kind of move. So I think that it's going to be a matter of getting the guys that they have on the same page in terms of the scheme and in terms of the effort. I mean, a lot of this is effort as well. That's been a real problem for them there as well.
Sean Deveney, Sporting News NBA Insider. We'll let you go on this. The team right now in the NBA that surprised you the most, did you believe they might be able to sustain this and become a playoff team in months to come?
Which team? Which team would I think?
Yeah, any team. A team that surprised you the most that you actually think could be good when it comes to April.
Yeah, it's a good question. There's been a couple that have been surprising. I think Detroit, and what they've done to get off to a 7-3 start, and I think you really see a guy like Avery Bradley coming in as a veteran who's had some experience with winning, who kind of has gone through that challenge a little bit. I think that he's really made a big difference. They're shooting the three well, which is something Stan Van Gundy has always wanted to do, but has never had the personnel to do it. I think they were 28th or 29th in three-point percentage last year, and they're up around 15th, which he probably wants to be in the top 10, but they're up around 15th now, and that's a significant jump up for them. If they can stay healthy, I think Detroit is a team that could factor in certainly the top 6 in the East, maybe even into the top 4.
Sean Deveney, Sporting News NBA Insider. Appreciate your time, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon if the New York Knicks continue to win these games.
All right, thanks, guys.